I was fortunate to be pregnant during COVID time. Support means the most. Postpartum, I would say it's something like a lot of people say that it doesn't stop after the baby stage. I'm in this moment, in this state of like slipping into a depressive state because of motherhood. I know my triggers now. Mother. That word alone holds so much responsibility to it that it's scary. I would say motherhood has taught me truly how to be resilient. Not every client should be your client. Not every opportunity is a good opportunity.
We do it all, rise up strong even when we fall. Dreams in our hands, love in our hearts. This is where the journey.
Welcome to Baby Bump and Business, the podcast for creative moms growing a baby and a brand at the same time. I'm your host, Bee Trofort-Wilson, a photographer, educator, and first-time mom to be, sharing the real unfiltered journey of pregnancy, entrepreneurship, and everything in between. Each week, I'll be joined by a fellow creative mom to talk all about the beauty, the burnout, and the balance of it all. So let's get into it. Today's guest is Rachel Reid, a proud Atlanta native. Rachel launched her career in the beauty industry as a makeup artist in 2011. Since then, she has continued to grow and evolve thanks to the support of many incredible people along the way. In 2021, she began her journey into motherhood with the birth of her daughter. In addition to running Rachel Reid Beauty, she offers virtual makeup courses and has expanded her brand to include products like luxury goat hairbrush sets and a stylish merch line. Hey, Rachel! So excited to be on this podcast with you today.
Am as well. How wonderful.
Yes, yes. So we've known each other for a while. And I remember we've talked about pregnancy. I've seen you pregnant and working. So to get into that, when you found out that you were pregnant, what was your first thought in terms of your career and what is this journey going to look like for you?
Well, because of the industry that I'm in, I'm a service provider, and the industry is based on what you actually do physically. You know, my if my hands aren't working or my legs aren't moving, I'm not really making money. So I think it was a level of like fear. First, it was a level of disbelief, like, oh my God, I'm about to be a mom. Like, how did this happen? Even though I knew how it happened, I'm still like, how did this happen? But then it turned into, okay, settle down. We got a baby coming. What next? And then I started to think about how this ties into my career. Because like I said, I'm a service provider, so we're constantly moving. I do a lot of freelance work, so I'm traveling to different clients, to different states and different countries and stuff. So I'm like, how is this gonna work? Is this gonna slow me down? Or will I have to settle down? How am I going to really make money? And I think that there's beauty in the fear of the unknown because it gives you a chance to sort of like pivot and think about other alternatives. Now, I will say, when I was pregnant, God knew to put me pregnant when He put me pregnant because I was fortunate to be pregnant during COVID time as well.
Oh,
The entire year of 2020, I was pregnant. I delivered my daughter the end of January of 2021. So all of 2020, I was pregnant. So I was stuck in the house. We was all stuck in the house. Okay. So I think that allowed me to sort of really settle into my pregnancy and sort of enjoy it a little bit more too. It was still a fear because of course we're in COVID and people are getting sick, people are dying. I mean, that was such a huge monumental moment in US history that a lot of people face, lost people and stuff. But I think for me, it made me really settle down, really think about what life is about to be like because pregnancy and motherhood, parenthood definitely changes you like completely. So I think it gave me a chance to sort of really settle into the pregnancy process, which I think was a blessing for me.
awesome. Now, being pregnant during COVID, first of all, everyone was stressed out during COVID, especially us service providers, where we're like, okay, so when are we going to work again? And Atlanta shut down, but it didn't really shut down, but it shut down at the same time. So the work did slow down, right? So for you, how was it for you to be able to stay mentally sane in that process of being pregnant during a time like that?
You know what? I think my mental sanity came from just the support of the people around me. I think that with with regardless of your time period that you're expecting a child, support means the most. Like your partner that you have, your team, your friends, your family, like having people around you just to sort of give you that encouragement, who genuinely check on you, ask if you need anything, send you stuff. I mean, one thing I would say about COVID, we were blessed to be able to have like Instacart, and Uber Eats, and all these delivery services. So we didn't have to really get out the house and go do things in person unless you wanted to, which we still had to mask up. So I think also it gave me a level of comfort knowing that we was all being safe. Listen, people was washing their hands, people was wearing their masks, what nobody, and you couldn't cough in person without people staring at you sideways and looking at you crazy. So I think it gave me a piece of like knowing, okay, I'm gonna be safe out here in these streets while I'm pregnant. Like me and the baby is gonna be good, unless I'm like really out here in these streets. Of course, it slowed down my work, which was a scary thought because I'm like, okay, now what do I do? But luckily I was able to apply for self-employment unemployment. So I was able to get money and just truly relish in my pregnancy with, a lot more stress free.
Perfect. So with that unemployment, was that able to help you during your maternity leave?
You know what? I feel like that was the biggest blessing of it all for me. And I know that so many mothers, expecting mothers, don't have that luxury right now because some are doing it on their own. Some don't have the support. We may be in the same industry doing the same things, and that fear of having to get up the further you get along during your pregnancy and be on your feet, working, still maintaining your household. Some may have other kids that you're taking care of at the same time. It can be a lot. So I mean, it definitely helped me a lot, and I'm very, very grateful because this was my first pregnancy. And I think that the fear of everything that was happening in the world, the fear of not knowing where my next check was going to come, besides the government. Now, thank you for that. But just as far as business itself, it was a level of fear, yet comfort at the same time.
Gotcha. So after your daughter was born, did you take time off? Like, okay, I'm not going to work. I'm just going to settle into this new journey of being a mother. Or did you feel the pressure of having to hop back into work during that time?
Definitely did not hop back in. I eased, slowly crept back in as much as I could withstand because I think that my level of fear was, of course, I'm adjusting to being a new mother as well as adjusting um to what life looks like after COVID now that the city's opening up, and are people still getting makeup done? I mean, I think during that time of COVID, it made people a lot more self-sufficient. So people are like YouTubing how to do their own makeup, they're practicing, you're at home mostly. So you had an opportunity to sort of, pivot and do different things to discover your own talents on your own. So I didn't really know what that was going to look like, but I have such amazing like clients and supporters that they were ready. They were like, "Listen, I'm whenever you ready, but I'm waiting for you." And they will refer me to other people. So I think it was just very embracing, but I did take my time to ease into it because I didn't want to overwhelm myself with being a new mom, having a whole new lifestyle, seeing what life is going to be like now that COVID's slightly over. I didn't want to slip into like postpartum. I didn't want to like, physically get sick or anything like that. So I just took my time.
Beautiful, beautiful. So going into that, did you have any postpartum symptoms or anything?
So let me tell you, like the first month that she was born, I was so grateful that my mom came and stayed with us and helped us the entire month. Now the first week, I'll say about Yeah, about the first week, I just remember my spouse needing to leave and go do something. And that was before my mom came. And I was at home with my daughter and she started crying. And I tried everything to do to stop her from crying. Now I'm crying because I'm like, oh my God, as her mom, I can't get her to stop crying. So she crying, I'm crying. I'm like, I don't know what to do. And it was so overwhelming. I feel like that was my first taste of like feeling like what postpartum could possibly look like. Luckily, like I said, my mom came, helped throughout the whole month. But when she left, I felt it. I definitely felt the change and the shift of just having that comfort of knowing that I have somebody here to support me and someone who is here to support me, who knows what they're doing, who's been down this path before. So I could be hands free a little bit and really just sort of focus on me and rebuilding myself. Um, but it's postpartum, I would say it's something like a lot of people say that it doesn't stop after the baby stage. And it's so true. I mean, I've had moments where my daughter's 4 now, but even like last year that I'm in this moment in this state of like slipping into a depressive state because of motherhood. It definitely does change you in all aspects, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. It's a huge adjustment to your life. So I definitely felt that. And I probably honestly, I can't say that I won't feel it again. You know, it may happen again, but I know my triggers now. I know how to pull myself out of it now. So I know what it looks like for me now. And I think that any mother that is expecting um, or aspiring mother that wants to have a baby and, get pregnant, to just know that like postpartum is real. Don't sit in it too long. Like find that support, whatever it looks like. If that's a hobby, if that's talking to somebody, if that's running, cooking, whatever it looks like for you to pull yourself out of it is super, super duper important because I think that that term mother, that word alone holds so much responsibility to it that it's scary. And I don't think that we really realize how much comes with that title. I mean, that's a big title to wear. And everybody can't, everybody should be able to, but everybody, like, let's be real. There's some mothers out here that don't need to have kids. So I think that being a good mother, like truly to your heart, wanting to do the best for you and your child and your family, it holds a lot of responsibility and that comes with a lot of pressure that can
Right.
be placed on you and you don't even know that you're sleeping into something that is a depressive state.
Right. So now going into the life of an entrepreneur who's now a mother, who now has this title on them, who now has this different level of weight. Because as an entrepreneur, we already carry a lot of weight, right? We're the ones that has to keep everything going for ourselves. And then now we have this new title and a new responsibility to be able to take care of. How have you been able to balance that title of being a mother and an entrepreneur?
You know what? I've just been embracing all the changes that it comes with, all the transformation, all the adjustments. It's been very embracing. I think that there's a level of being an entrepreneur and a mother that has merged, like I've merged the two a little bit to create my own version of what this looks like for me. Just having a balance between working, mother, like having a routine, having that balance, having that support is just so important because it can get tricky out here when you're not really sure how to navigate through this field. Because entrepreneurship just alone carries a lot. Like I've had people who want to step into being entrepreneurs that ask like, well, how did you get into the industry? How did you start working on your own? Um, and I want to be able to work on. They're like, oh, I want to be able to work on my own and make my own hours and not have to have no boss. And I'm like, listen, you working 40 hours a week now, you're going to be working 100 hours a week as an entrepreneur. And just know that, yeah, you're working for yourself and it's so gratifying. But man, it comes with a lot of work, a lot of stress, a lot of heartache, a lot of headache, a lot of not knowing when your next dollar is going to come at times. But I think really like for me, having faith, when I tell you faith is so important to me because it allowed me to know that I'm going to be okay, like, and see it in real time. When I think, oh my God, I don't have a booking or, what's going on, I'm falling into a slow season. um, when I tell you God always provides, like He always brings that person, that opportunity, something in my life that just keeps me afloat and propels me at the same time.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Faith, man. Whoo. And I think, I know we always talk about this as entrepreneurs where it looks so glamorous on social media. And it's like, but
Yes,
there's so much work that goes into it. And yeah, you may not have a boss, but you're the boss now. And
right.
that's another title and that's another job description that a lot of people aren't really made to be and they don't understand that until they get there, you know? Now,
Yes.
what has motherhood shown you in this process of how strong you are, or what new thing have you learned about yourself being a mother?
Oh, being a mother has shown me something that I'm still working on. I can admit is patience. I think that having a child, patience and energy. I will say that me having a child later, like I didn't have my daughter until I was 32. So that's like I'm an old seasoned mom, okay? So I will say that I noticed the difference of like my energy. She's so young and she's rambunctious. She's just going like an energizer bunny. And I'm like, okay, here mama I'll be right, trying to catch up to her, trying to stay afloat. So I would say that just keeping my energy up, and I think that that comes with just maintaining like, your health, like that's super important, being healthy, drinking water, staying stress free, eating good, all of those things, play a part in that, right? But I think also when it comes to the patience, I am learning to have more patience at this part of my life. And for everybody, it's going to be different. Some people, as they get older, they gain more patience. I feel like mine's a little bit thinner now. So I'm sort of navigating that. But I would say motherhood has taught me truly how to be resilient. Like, I feel like when I look at her face, when I think about her, even when she's not around, it gives me so much strength to keep going. Like that's a part of that, how they faith walk, moves and correlates with motherhood for me. Knowing like I have this human being that God blessed me to be a mother to, that I can pour all this love, all this energy, all this time, all this affection into, and raise the best way I can. And I truly, truly see the definition of what love, unconditional love, really is when it comes to being a mother.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. So, with running a business and being a mother, what is something that you wish you knew before you had your daughter? And what is something you know now that you would encourage someone else to learn or to think about in that process of going into motherhood?
Well, I think one of the biggest things that sometimes you can't prepare for is having the right person. That's the first thing. I know that sometimes we can't help, that we messing with somebody and happen to get pregnant. That happens to a lot of people. Unplanned pregnancy is very, very real. But having the right person is going to like really shape the dynamics of how you move through your pregnancy, what happens during delivery, and how it shapes through motherhood and parenting for you. Because that person should be able to be there to support you. You should be able to support them. And just truly like having the right alignment when it comes to like your values, your morals, how you see your family dynamic, what that vision looks like. I think that many a times people fall in love with someone because it's the idea of love in the meantime. But it's like, do you have the conversation of like how does what it looks like raising a kid? Do you want your kid to be homeschooled or not? Are you, you know, um, do you value marriage, or what's the dynamics of the husband and wife dynamics in your relationship. What does your family look like and how they tie into what they pour into your children, and just those types of conversations. I think it starts with having the right person that you're having a child with. And mind you, those things change over time. Like, you're constantly learning people because we're evolving every day. So what you may like in your 20s, you may not like in your 30s. You may not want in your 40s. So it's a constant evolution of learning someone and learning yourself, because like I said, we're all changing. Um, but I think that motherhood is something that's so very special that not everybody has the opportunity to be a part of, unfortunately. And it's something so sacred and amazing about raising life itself. Seeing it grow, seeing it nurtured, pouring into it, watering that little seed that constantly grows up, and loves you back. Loves you back. That's like your mini best friend that you'll always have to be with and to be a part of, God willing. So I think that that's the beauty of motherhood. Um, and I know that being an entrepreneur has truly helped shape me in learning just how to be self-aware, um being responsible, because I'm like, it already gave me that responsibility role, because like you said, you got that title of boss first. I was a boss before I was a mother. I had my business before I became a mom. So having already that level of responsibility, definitely I carried that through into how I do motherhood and just this journey as well.
Beautiful, beautiful. So, as a business owner, how have you balanced, especially during that first year while your child is, going from 1 month to 12 months old? How did you balance still being able to work? Because of course, you're not a freelancer that just sits still. You're one that travels. You're one that usually are on set for crazy hours or different times a day. So how did that shift your work life?
You know what? It was just finding that balance. Trying not to do everything, but do enough that I could withstand. Um, and like I said, the biggest thing is just having the support. Like, that really has just helped me so much in motherhood. Like, my mom being able to be accessible, my spouse, her dad being able to just be very, very present, and having great friends who support not only just me with business, but as well with me on this motherhood journey, that truly pour into me and encourage me when I feel down, when I feel, broken, when I feel confused or conflicted. Having just that support has just been monumental. And I would encourage any mother to find that support from somebody that is genuine in their life if they can, because that's really going to help you so much.
Right, right. Now, in terms of, you said that, you found that balance of doing enough and not, not doing it all. How hard was that? Because, sometimes as entrepreneurs, we're saying yes to every opportunity. We're trying to stack up. We're trying to do all these things. But now that you're in this new journey, you have to get to that state of where it's okay to be like, you know what? I can say no to this job. And sometimes that is hard to do. So how was it for you in that transition to be comfortable of choosing your family and choosing this motherhood journey and being okay with saying, I can pass on this opportunity?
Yeah, I found the value. I valued me and I valued motherhood more than anything else. So it was just placing value in, like I said, having that faith that, where one door closes, another one will open up, and it may be just as better than what you thought, you know, this opportunity was, because not every client should be your client. Not every opportunity is a good opportunity. Not every dollar made is going to be sustainable. I think that me just really like embracing that, and especially during the first year, I didn't want to miss a beat when it came to her because, babies grow so fast. The newborn stage compared to when they start turning in, into like, 3 months, and they start getting juicy around 5, 6 months. Ooh, that little juicy stage was my stage. I loved it so much. And just that first year is so impactful because they grow so fast. So I didn't want to miss a beat with her. So if it was something that I could pass on, oh, I was gonna pass on it. And what I would do is just sort of recommend somebody else. Like I'm like, if I can't have the blessing in this moment, I'm gonna share with somebody else who's still in this space and let the money keep circulating around.
Beautiful, beautiful. And I think that's one thing, oftentimes I know for me personally, going into thinking about what this new journey is going to look like, that's always that fear, right? Especially being in an industry where it's like if you say no, you have to hope and pray and have faith that it's going to come back around, and sometimes that is like that hard thing to accept as an entrepreneur in this creative industry where there's so many of us in this field, in this city. And it's like, if I say no, does that mean I'm going to miss out on this opportunity? But like you said, it's always one having faith, but also knowing that you can also share that blessing with another creative. You can share that blessing with someone else who is still within that circle and then find comfort in that and okay with that, knowing that it's still going to come back. Because, whatever God has for you is for you. So even if you have to say no to some opportunities, it doesn't mean that it's closing the door on your business.
Absolutely. And then that's the thing, like when it comes to sharing this space, like we all may do the same thing, but it's literally enough to go around for everybody to be blessed and to have, clients and to have opportunities. So what you share in that moment that you may be passing up, um, that person now is like, okay, this person shared with me. Now I may not be able to do something. I'm gonna share back with them. So it's just sort of it keeps circulating to where you never really lose.
Right, right. So now, sticking within the idea of talking about business and entrepreneurship, what is one advice you would give another creative in your industry that is planning or thinking about going into this motherhood journey? What advice would you give them in regards to not just becoming a mother, but also how to maintain their business at the same time?
Mm, I would say if you're planning um to become a mother, meaning you're not already pregnant, but you're working towards that, I would say just having a plan in action that makes sense for you, which of course, no matter what you plan, things happen, right? Unexpectedly. But I think having that sort of um plan already set forth gives you just a blueprint to sort of go off of. And that plan can include just when you would want to take your maternity leave, how much money to sort of have saved up before the baby comes or before, you go on this pregnancy journey, um, what the household dynamic looks like with you and your spouse. Just so many different things of writing everything down on what you want, what you expect, and what you hope for, and sort of going off of that. Of course, things like I said are going to happen that maybe just out of our control. You may be expecting to have a natural birth, and who knows, the baby starts coming and you might have C-section, might have to go to the hospital. Like there's, things happen, but or you may not have your doctor that has been with you the whole time. But I think just having something that is written down, tangible, that you can see, that anybody else can see. It's almost like that vision board, but for your pregnancy journey. Having that already in place will help give you some kind of guidance and direction. And having that also set forth when it comes to your business, like I said, it's going to be moments that you're not able to do everything. So having that second person, that assistant that is ready to go, like, look, I'm planning on, being pregnant. Me and my husband are talking about having a baby. I would love to introduce you to some of my clients and refer you for certain opportunities that I'm not able to be a part of, if that's okay with you. And just sort of having um that conversation ahead of time and having something written down, tangible, that you can sort of see visually, to refer back to can probably really, really help you.
The planning. Oh man.
Planning. Listen, at this age, you gotta plan it out. Whether it goes as planned or not, at least saying you tried, at least saying you tried to put something in motion that makes sense for you and your lifestyle.
Big. And lastly, so in this journey in motherhood and being an entrepreneur, how have you mentally stayed sane? Or what are some tips that you have to keep yourself balanced and to keep yourself level to where you're not overwhelmed by any of those titles?
Girl, I am two screws away from going into the Ford now. Okay. Listen, I'm still finding that balance. I have to be honest. Especially when your child starts to move, like, I'll say this for all moms, don't rush the process. Trust me. Newborn stage, the baby stage is gonna feel like, oh God, I'm ready for them to walk. I'm ready for them to talk. I'm ready for to stop changing diapers. Now that I can admit, okay, that's definitely a checklist the first thing on the checklist. But when they start moving, they do not sit down. They start talking, they do not stop talking. So enjoy the process of having, like, the baby stage is probably the easiest one where you can just sit them down, put them in a little bouncy, and they give them a little toy. First off, don't spend a bunch of money, okay? They're gonna want your keys. They're gonna want the TV remote and not the little toy one. They're gonna want the actual TV remote. So, but go to Family Dollar or Dollar Tree, get a remote with no batteries in it, and give it to them. They're gonna have a blast. They're gonna want the box that the toy came into. They don't want the toy. So don't overdo it. Don't overthink it. Trust your journey. And just go with the flow. Like, it's such an amazing experience. There's no right or wrong way to it. As long as you're pouring into your child, into your family, and still pouring into yourself. I think that that's the biggest thing. Especially for me, like I said, the title mother comes with so much that sometimes you can lose your own identity in it. And for a while, I didn't know who I was. Like, I lost who I was. I didn't know how to dress no more. I didn't know how I wanted to look anymore. I didn't know, everything I thought about, I put my child first. And as good as that may seem, like being a mother, you put your child first, you can't pour from an empty cup. And I think that I did lose myself, and that's where postpartum starts to creep in on you. So I would encourage any mother to, don't forget about you first. If it comes to self-care, when it comes to just getting your hair done, getting your nails done, talking to your girls or your friends or whoever that person is that can sort of pull you out of dark moments or just help balance you out when you're, like, losing yourself a little bit and don't know where to go. Don't forget about you, because you can lose yourself in that term of mother. You become, people are like, how's the baby? Not like, how are you doing first? They forget about you. You can be forgotten about, at times, but I think that that's sort of normal, that happens, but not to forget about yourself. Don't forget about you. You're with you the most. So, girl, if you want to eat that cookie, eat that cookie. You want to get your nails done, go get your nails done. To decompress and just sit in your car and listen to some old school 90s R&B and just vibe out for a moment, girl, do it all. Don't forget about you. That's all.
That's a perfect way to end this. Don't forget about you. Whoa, that's a gem right there. Well, Rachel, thank you. Thank you so much for sharing your journey with us. Thank you for sharing your story. I know that this has helped me in this process, and I know it's going to help some other creative moms out there. So again, thank you so much.
Oh, you are so welcome. Thank you for the opportunity to speak about such an amazing topic. Thank you for just allowing this platform to be available for mothers who are, aspiring mothers or expecting mothers. I'm excited to be a part of this journey, and I am congratulating for all mothers out there who are expecting or plan to be as well. So thank you so much.
Thanks so much for tuning in to this episode of Baby Bump and Business. I hope today's conversation reminded you that you're not alone on this journey and that there's so much power in building something beautiful when becoming someone new. If you enjoyed this episode, please take a moment to rate, review, or share it with another mama or creative who needs the encouragement. Your support helps the community grow and lets more stories like ours be heard. To stay connected and get updates on new episodes and real talk from creative moms like you, be sure to follow us on Instagram at Baby Bump and Business. Until next time, keep creating, keep growing, and giving yourself the grace that you deserve.